Hey guys, welcome to episode 3 of my journey to become a freelance web designer and webflow developer. And here's a few updates for y'all since the last episode. I created some documents regarding the business and studio and for example, who is number 132, what's my main selling point, what is my mission, and I just put my current tech stack to just stay organized. And then I was like, what kind of services am I providing? And my proficiency in each service. And who am I trying to make websites for short term and long term? And I guess that I could eliminate the short term because I really want to be searching for qualified leads. And that's basically just saying, who is an ideal client for the type of work that I do and who actually needs a Webflow website. So I'm gonna have to figure that stuff out. And the things that I came up with were either AI or video games, so gaming lounges or even video game sites, and product. I wouldn't say really e-commerce, just because Webflow isn't that great when it comes to e-commerce. But there are some um, solutions in the making, like ShopeeFlow, that I've heard. There's probably more, but I can't think of it right now. But I think my main ones are probably video games, AI, and products. So digital products, I guess, that don't really need a store. It's more so of a either subscription base or something like that. Sorry, I'm still sick from the sinusitis. And then I go into my content strategy, and I'm trying to plan out how um, I do things on YouTube and Twitter, since those are my two main platforms, and this is just a bare bones plan for what I have. I actually have to upgrade my setup a little bit because I want to start using my camera instead of this webcam that I have in my second monitor. And I'm gonna have to, instead of using dual monitor arms, which I currently run right now, I'm gonna get two single arm monitors to put the camera in the middle, so I can just look in the middle when I'm talking to you guys. But yeah, and some other things to consider, like SEO tools, and business analytics. So especially when it comes to showing my work on my case studies, I want to design my portfolio for my clients, and I want to showcase results of websites that I do with previous clients and such, because then that gives me more of a selling point and more leverage when I'm trying to cold call or email or pitch myself to a potential lead or client. So with the more stuff out of the way, we'll go into, well, what's the Webflow side? What's the portfolio looks like right now? But I was gonna go through the design process that I had. So basically, I went through some sites and I was like, okay, what do I like out of these sites, and what are some elements that I want to incorporate into my site? And I actually forgot to put one. It's flowman.dev. It's made by Corey Reynolds. Shout out to Corey Reynolds. And I actually heard about Corey through um, the creator of Mass, who is also named Corey, and he was telling me that I could theme my portfolio as long as I keep it simple and just make my purpose clear and show my work. And I'll explain how I do that in a second. But I just wanted to outline my design process for this portfolio, and I'll probably make a dedicated video for that soon, if that's something people are interested in. But basically, I created about 7 hero sections. I know you only see five. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, five. I deleted one of them because I didn't really vibe with the idea, and then I took the one that I'm rocking with into the main Figma flow. And it's basically just before even creating these things with the typography and everything, I did grayscale design. I just laid it out, and then once I was satisfied with the layout, I went into adding the brand colors that I have. And I decided to go with this design, and I combined this chat box feature with this design, and then excluded this paragraph to create some sort of chat box dialogue on the web, tablet, and mobile landscape interfaces. I might even exclude it from mobile landscape just because the screen size might not capture that at 100 view port width when like the phone's like this, and it would probably only capture like the buttons, the title, and then the some of the image. So that might be something to consider. And then I use cards a lot in this website, so I wanted to make it consistent. And there are some ways that I like tweak the cards in my website, but so far we just have some standard case study cards after transitioning from the hero section, just so the clients could view the work right away and know what kind of work I do and the quality of work that I do. And then I actually changed this to, instead of being like a section where it's like, here's what it's like to work with me, I I basically go into my services that I provide, the main services that the studio will provide, and then we just go into client testimonials. And then from there, I actually added a secondary call to action like section to reinforce, like, after scrolling through this and you're like seeing all this, like, maybe you don't want to scroll all the way up and you want to book, then you can either do that there or in the footer. And this footer actually isn't this, it's this now. So going into the web site, yeah, you already saw this, but yeah, basically this will be a chat box explaining the main purpose and like selling proposition of the studio. And I like how the character's like pointing at the chat box, so it's like, hey, you should read this dialogue. And then I have this transition section, which is like, welcome to my space and you should explore. So here are some of my projects. And I don't currently have the images created right now. I basically have them all, what do you call it, filled with the default webflow images that you get when you populate the items in the CMS collections. But all the case studies are pretty much written out, so I just have to copy paste those. And then I've already structured the case study too. And then there we have the cards, and I drew these icons in Sprite. I wanted it all to be somewhat pixeled, and that would make the site like brand, my studio brand, more consistent with my, the website and the studio brand. So just keeping that consistency is nice. And then the testimonials, we also use a chat box again, but I will be excluding the type interface, or the typing script that exists in here, which I'll probably showcase a bit in later, probably like 2 minutes from now. And the reason for that is because when the page loads, this will populate, and especially because this text on the testimonial is a bit longer than what I have in here, it could morph this chat box and then throw these out of proportion. So I'd rather just not deal with that, and plus it's more code than I think is needed on the JavaScript side. So yeah, and then we have this secondary call to action button or section here, and I'm probably going to change it to this color. I just put it as purple for now, just so I can differentiate between this and the footer. And if we look at the live Webflow site, it's just a little cool little typer JS script and some GSAP going on, so I can emulate this character, sprite, whatever you want to call it. I guess sprite, pixel sprite of myself that I'm floating in my own space and within space kind of thing. So yeah, that's it for me, and I can't wait to show you guys when this is done. And from there, we'll list out our next set of goals, which is probably just going more into the admin stuff of trying to figure out my qualified leads, my campaigning strategy, and content creation going forward, and the type of videos that I want to produce later down the line. So that's gonna do it for me. So I'll give a whole tour at a dedicated portfolio video once this is all done. And if you're still watching, thanks for sticking around, and I'll catch you in the next one. So peace.